Hi, I'm Vanessa Lewis with Partners Mentoring Youth, and I'm so glad that you're interested in learning more about our volunteer roles. In this video, I'm going to walk you through background about our organization and the kids that we serve, and chat a little bit about the volunteer roles we have available so you can think about what would be the best fit for you. In terms of background, we as an organization have been in the nonprofit community in Northern Colorado for the last 42 years. Partners Mentoring Youth is well established as the leader in youth mentoring in this area. We have offices in Fort Collins, in Greeley, and in Estes Park, and our vision across the board is to enrich lives and build community as the leaders in youth mentoring. The main way that we seek to do this is through our community-based and school-based mentoring programs where we really want to enrich the lives of kids. We make sure that we follow best practices and keep up with new research so that we're providing the top quality programming available to youth in this area. Across the board, we see some really positive results. We do an independent evaluation each year just to kind of see what our impact is. And we see on average 75% increases in confidence, 50% increases in social skills and adult bonding, huge gains in academic engagement and decision-making ability, and youth who just have a lot more hope for their future. I always like to share those impacts right at the top so that you get a sense of how successful you could be in making an impact on a youth in the area. We also really want to make sure that the experience is enriching to our youth, our volunteers who are coming through the program. And so we make sure that we provide you with all of the supports that you need. And so typically you're working with one program coordinator from today on through, We also really want to make sure that our volunteers in the program, you, have a lot of success as well. And that means that we provide the supports and the resources necessary for you to be successful in the program. Essentially, you work with one program coordinator through the onboarding and training and matching process, and then they're the person that you communicate with on a regular basis through your partnership. And they're also the person who's on call. If anything comes up, you're facing any issues or challenges, or you just need some ideas about new ways to engage your youth, they're always available for you in that way. On the flip side, while it's a really structured and supportive program, it's also a program that's really flexible, and our volunteers are always reporting that they appreciate that they get to bring whatever pieces of themselves to the volunteer role they think is best. They get to decide what their schedule is going to be, what activities they're doing with their youth, and so people really appreciate that you kind of have both worlds with that. In addition to the time that you spend with your youth as a volunteer with Partners, we really encourage people to get engaged in the community of Partners Mentoring Youth. So we have a great board of directors, awesome staff, and over 600 volunteers in Northern Colorado. So we make sure to have socializing and networking opportunities, as well as opportunities for you to plug in with any of our community-wide fundraising events and our mentor recruitment drives. Just a lot of fun ways to get involved with the organization. In terms of the kids in the program, we really want to focus on kids who are going to benefit from our mentoring services the most. And so that typically means kids who are facing risk factors or extra challenges, and they really need that extra support of a role model. So we really focus on kids who, might be facing mental health issues, either personally or in their home, socioeconomic challenges, are facing social isolation or past victimization, a variety of things that qualify kids into the program. And the way they come through our program is through third-party referral sources. So we work a ton with youth-serving professionals who, might be a school counselor or a therapist, and they work with the youth and see, hey, this kid has a ton of potential, they're facing these obstacles, let's get them a volunteer through Partners, a role model that they can really work with to help them through some of those challenges. It really helps us to work through those third-party referral sources because it makes sure that we're really pinpointing the kids who most need services, and then also gives us someone out in the community that we can continue to stay in touch with. We chat about all of what these risk factors are, but ultimately you'll meet the kids, and they're just kids, and they're all here voluntarily. They have opted into the program, their families are on board, and so we have a lot of really great buy-in with kids. Once they're referred in, they're put on our wait list, and we do some programming with kids there, and so we really get a chance to know the kids in that way, and they get a chance to know Partners Mentoring Youth in that way. With that, we really do intentional matches, and so we consider what your strengths and your interests are. We match you with a kid we think you would be a good fit with in terms of shared interests, your strengths meeting their needs, and making sure that there's no logistical concerns or anything like that. Across the board, our partnerships are really successful. About 90% complete their committed year together, and over half decide to continue past that point. So that's just kind of a testament to how strong those partnerships and those matches are right from the start. So that brings us to our volunteer roles. We have 3 volunteer roles available across Northern Colorado. Our first is our community-based role. Next, we'll go through our school-based mentoring role, and the last is activity volunteer. So the one that we typically have the most need for and are accepting volunteers for on a year-round basis is our community-based senior partner role. And so that's kind of what most people think of as the typical youth mentoring, where you're working one-on-one with a youth, you're establishing a relationship over a longer period of time, you're building trust, you're doing activities together, you're really serving as an advocate and friend for them, and just having a great time with a junior partner who needs that support. With that role, we ask that you commit to doing a calendar year from when you're matched up, and that you commit to doing an average of 3 hours per week with your youth. With that, I really encourage volunteers to think about what are some of the things that you're doing right now that you could invite a youth along on. I know it can seem like a lot to carve out an additional 3 hours, and so thinking, you're going to be going to the grocery store, picking out fresh produce, cooking a meal, taking your dog for a walk, or trying a new trail for hiking, maybe going to a community event, or watching a basketball game, or playing video games, all sorts of different things that's already part of your life that you can invite a youth along on. And so that just helps with time management, but also really engages kids at a deeper level when it's something that you're inherently interested in doing as well. With that time commitment, we also recognize that there might be periods of time where you're not available, you're on vacation, or the youth is ill, or something comes up scheduling wise. So it's really an average through time, but we really want to make sure that you're as consistent as possible with seeing your youth on a weekly basis. And if there is something that comes up, that you're in really strong communication with them about those expectations of scheduling. In addition to the one-on-one time with your youth, we as an organization host monthly activities that we invite our partnerships along on. And so they're always recreational or life skill building or community service oriented, and just a great way to engage with other partnerships and maybe try something that you wouldn't do just one-on-one. We've done archery lessons, we've done cooking classes, we've gone to Rockies games, movie nights, all sorts of different things that you can sign up for as you're interested in. So that is our community-based senior partner role. And as I said, we're always accepting applications for that role. Our school-based mentoring role is one that we run through the duration of the academic year. So we match everyone in the fall, and they run through the spring with their junior partners. That means that we're accepting applications starting in April and through August for that September match time. With the school-based program, the parameters are a little bit different. So in addition to it just being the academic year, it's also during school hours, so during the day, and it's an average of 1 hour per week. Our school-based senior partners still get to do a variety of different activities with their junior partner. It's not really about tutoring or the academic engagement, although you may occasionally work on school projects. But we have partnerships that play board games and do art projects and, play sports outside, walk around, chat about what's going on, have lunch with their junior partners, all sorts of different things that you can engage with there. It has a little bit more structure just because it isn't based in the school, so that does appeal to some people. And it's really kind of about, when you're available to volunteer and, what activities you can see yourselves doing. The final volunteer role that we have is our activity volunteer role. And so we make sure that we provide services for kids who are on our wait list. And so those are group activities that we do and invite waitlisted kids to come to on a monthly basis. And we have a group of volunteers who specifically work in that role, where you'd be helping facilitate the activity that our staff plan, picking up a couple kids to take to that activity, serving as their point person there, and then taking them back home. That's a volunteer role that can be great for you to jump into if you're not sure what might work best for you, but it is a volunteer role that we have the least need for on an ongoing basis, because we typically really need a lot more of those one-on-one volunteers. So below this link on the email that you got are some different emails for you to reach out to, depending on which program you're interested in and which area you're in. Let us know email that staff and they will get back to you right away so that they can move forward in the process with you. You'll also see a link to our information packets that go through kind of what the next steps of the process look like. Essentially from here, we'll bring you in for an interview, we'll run background checks, which we do at the state, county, and city levels, as well as DMV checks and FBI fingerprinting. Then we have the training and onboarding process, and then the match process. So you can review all of that information in the packet. And if you have any questions, there's also a specific frequently asked questions document for you to look through, or an email that you can reach out to if you end up having further questions beyond that. As I said, I really appreciate that you are interested in volunteering with us, and we hope that it works out and that we hear from you soon. Thanks so much.